I feel very passionately about this topic. That's where I come in and I'm going to kind of rant off about it and get real with you about it. And then we're going to conclude.
We're going to bring it all home. What we always bring our clients back to is, what is the right decision for you?
Yeah.
That is the entire consideration.
But know that, okay, you can do that now. You're going to be in great shape then as soon as you refinance. Like, if you can do that now, you're practically going to give yourself a raise by the time you get to do that. And you already have a house.
And I know you always give me shit for being a Gen Xer, but I am old enough to remember living.
You young people, and this is why we're not millennia up anymore.
Yeah, this is why. I lived through, I was of a home purchasing age during the Great Recession. Right. I'm going to tell you right now.
I was sitting in chemistry.
Your psychology completely changes when the herd decides to disengage from the market.
Am I? I don't know. I feel that.
I don't know. Are you?
Very passionately about this.
I know you do. Welcome back. Moving sucks.
It's time to change that. Fix that.
Time to change that.
Time to fix that.
Time to fix that. Yeah, we're still working on this. We're still trying to remember our new title. But listen, last time, guys, couple times.
Before we get into this, I need to
whoa. What are you talking about?
Need to let the audience know. We rip like 5 of these at a time. Like I said, when I say
we don't have to let anyone know anything. Cut this.
More importantly, the Eagles have officially just played in the Super Bowl. We are filming this 2 weeks before this happens. I have no promises on my current state of mind when this is being released. I hope for the life of me that I am absolutely feral. But I just wanted to say, go Birds. And I really hope future me is very excited when this is released and that we have won our now second Super Bowl. Update, the Eagles did win the Super Bowl. I did go absolutely out of my mind on Broad Street on Sunday night. We are the best team in America, and I loved watching Kansas City get absolutely pummeled into the ground. So now that we are caught up on this week, I just needed to say, go Birds! Catch me at the parade on Friday. And now back to our regularly scheduled episode of Moving Sucks. Because the first time I was 8 months pregnant and I did not get to enjoy it to the full extent of what I really would have wanted to.
Well, I hope the Eagles have won and that you have been able to enjoy all the festivities with that event. Can we move on?
Yes.
Are we allowed to move on?
Yes.
Do you want to talk about the Phillies? Or too early?
It's not spring training yet.
Not spring training yet. Okay, let's.
But I do love that Bryce Harper is in his little like influencer era. He's like bored during off season and is just like taking to social media and just it's cute.
I think a lot of these guys are taken after the Kelsey brothers. The Kelsey brothers have done a fantastic job of establishing, like whoever their PR people, the Kelseys they're doing a good job. So.
I just think they're good people.
Yeah, I do too. I don't get any kind
of. And I think the universe is just rewarding them for that, and I think that's great.
Yeah, unfortunately, this universe rewards pieces of shit too many times, but the Kelseys are exceptional. I think they're just a good people, good family. And anyone who doesn't agree, I don't want to even hear it because I would like to live in delusion rather than worry about.
I would just rather the universe start rewarding good people.
Yeah,
my philosophy. I might be a little delusional thinking that that'll be the case, but
Well, let's talk about delusions. All right, so let's get this episode started. We are talking about timing the market.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. So I'm going to put my my nerd hat on. Jen will attentively listen, I am sure. Let's talk just general investing. So
start them out with the exciting stuff.
Well, no, but you have to listen. I'm layering in context.
All right.
Well, I'm making an argument
in this episode. Seth's going to nerd out for a little bit. I feel very passionately about this topic. That's where I come in and I'm going to kind of rant off about it and get real with you about it. And then we're going to conclude.
We're going to bring it all home.
Well, we're going to bring it all home.
Pun intended.
So go ahead, Seth. Go ahead. Get into your nerd brain.
So it all started in 1584. No, I'm kidding. No, so basically what we need to do is really just think about investing in general. because that's ultimately what a home purchase is. It's an investment in your future. It's the reason why still people buy homes. We still have 67% home ownership rate in this country. And whether you're buying a stock, you're trying to save for college, you're buying a house, you're waiting for certain things to happen. The people who talk about timing the market have I think, an outsized delusion of like how they understand how markets work. There are
Can I interrupt you for a second? Can you define for the listener what you mean by timing the market?
timing the market is essentially anybody who sits there and says, "I'm going to wait until this happens because then it'll be a good time." Or the opposite is, "I want to do something right now because I know something else is going to happen." It's essentially trying to predict the market. And my point is that it's almost impossible. I One of our lenders, I bend his ear all the time about the uselessness of economists, and we even have one for our main trading group who has been wrong every year for the last 5 years. Okay, this is somebody who
It's like
sits there.
weathermen.
This
They
is
can be right 50% of the time and still keep their job.
not even right 50%. I mean, dude, it's worse than a weatherman on the eve of a blizzard. I mean, it's like, dude, it's not even like a weatherman. They're so off all the time, and there's this cottage industry of people sitting there saying
They
they can
speak
predict.
so confidently
They
about it.
do. It's a sales job,
I
and
can speak really confidently when I'm wrong too. Oh man, I can be so confidently wrong. Difference is I like genuinely believe it.
yeah, I listen. There's such a volume of information, of data, and this world runs at such a fast speed now that people, and you can see it in our politics, you can see it in our um, in our media. It's so fast that someone could be totally wrong and people forget in like a day. It doesn't even matter. So my point is that you've got a lot of people with a lot of profit motive trying to tell you what is going to happen in the market. And people make a ton of money and they get on stages and they get Nobel prizes, and these people don't actually know what is going to happen. And that's their job. And they've gone to school for it. And they've got years of experience, international economic experience. And they know every history book in the world. And they still can't predict it. So the idea that the American real estate consumer can do the same thing is that's not a thing. And so what we always bring our clients back to is, what is the right decision for you?
Yeah.
That is the entire consideration. Forget about what an economist said is going to happen to interest rates. Forget about what they're going to say what's going to happen to home prices. Not completely, but nobody really knows. And that's the problem, is that people are just overly confident.
Now, and
And
like, listen, I understand that real estate agents as a whole are like one of the least trusted industries and just professions. And it drives me nuts. Like, I get it, but like, please listen to me when I tell you I am not being a pushy salesperson when I tell you just stop trying to wait. Because there's no sense to it. Now, hear me out. There are times where it doesn't make sense for you. That's fine. But if you're going to try to just time things out because of, like you said, like there's an economist who says this, or you think rates are going to do that, or I'm just going to wait it out until XYZ happens, there's going to be a different problem then.
mhm.
So, you look at things, all right, listen, do we have a crystal ball? Do we know what's going to happen in a year? No. People can make their best educated opinions and, think they do. But do they? No. Nobody knows what's actually going to happen. Do you know what we do know, though? We know through history. If we want to just look at this as in plain black and white in first grade level. Okay. What do we know? Rates are always variable. They always change. They go up and down. They will go down. We know that historically. You know what else we know historically? Home prices go up. So, oh, I'm just going to like wait it out until rates go down. Cool, go ahead. But you know what's going to happen? You're going to wait for the rates to go down, but those house prices are going to keep going up. So, it is this really better for you? But like why do you need to move? Like do you really want to put yourself through the pain of being stuck where you're at to get that lower rate when you can buy the house right now at the prices that we're at currently? And then, right now, Rates suck right now. I hate it. Drive me nuts. They're like 7% today. Again, today is January 28th. Yeah, they blow. It's awful. However, I'm always going to make sure that we look at your file financially and make sure that it is at least responsible for you to get into this right now. And the hope that you get to look forward to is that can always go down. So there's less competition right now because the rates are high and because there are a lot of people sitting on the sidelines, which, okay, fine. But as soon as those rates start dropping, everybody's going to dive in because they're not listening to this podcast and they're not understanding that you can avoid the competition. You could actually probably get a home inspection right now, depending on where you're at. I hate that's even a thing I have to say. But you can get in right now.
You hate inspections?
No, I hate that I have to say that. Oh my God, you might get to waive them or you might get to get them. Ooh, like it's
Yeah.
some like big prize. It should be an expectation. But anyway,
Oh, okay. I thought you
that's
thought it was the
discussion
other.
for
I thought
another
it was the other way.
Thank you for clarifying.
Good.
Pro home inspections. No, but you get it in. Look at the people who bought, who didn't buy when rates went from like 3 to 5. And they're like, oh, I want to wait for them to go back down. That was a great rate. But the houses 2 years ago were like 50 grand less than they are right now. Cool. You want to wait. You're paying more for the house versus getting it right now, getting it while it's a lower price than it's going to be factually in the future. And then when those rates do drop, you already have the house and you get to refinance it. Isn't that awesome? I don't understand why people are trying to time the market when it is that simple. Literally 2 facts. Rates will drop. Home prices will go up. Maybe not as fast and drastically as they did from like 2019 to 2020, but like those 2 facts alone could just finish this entire episode.
Yeah.
And I have this conversation so many times. And it's like, this is so not me trying to be a pushy salesperson and trying to just like, sell people on, oh, you should buy now. Right now is a great time to buy. People can make an excuse for why any time is a bad time to buy. There will always be something that's going to be hard. There's always going to be something that sucks. Moving sucks. And anybody can always find in any market something that's going to be hard to overcome. But like, how much do you want it and how bad do you want it?
Yeah.
I'd rather somebody be, so long as you can. And again, I need to stress, so long as you can be in just a little bit of pain for a little bit of time, you may be spending more than you ideally would have thought on your mortgage for a little bit. We will try to make that as affordable as possible and make sure it's affordable for you. Nobody wants you to be house broke. Mm-hmm. But know that, okay, you can do that now. You're going to be in great shape then as soon as you refinance. Like if you can do that now, you're practically going to give yourself a raise by the time you get to do that. And you already have a house.
You done?
Am I? I don't know. I feel that
I don't know. Are you?
Very passionately about this.
I know you do.
Drives me nuts.
Let's talk to the listener there for a second. Let's talk about why the timing, why they think they can time the market. Okay.
Because they also know rates are going to change.
Well, no, I think that they need to understand, perhaps there's times, Jen, when people get opinions about things and they don't even know where they came from. And my sense after talking to dozens and dozens of people a month is I think they get advice from family who maybe bought a house recently or maybe not at all, from their friends. Especially friends that have 4% rates, 5% rates. And then they're like, dude, you're crazy. Like, you should just wait until rates go down because that's when we bought, or we bought when the rates were X. The other are more those doomsdayer people. They're doomers. They're being like, dude, the whole market's going to crash. This was big during the last presidency, and now it's all going to flip over, and the 50% will now think it's all going to happen during the Trump administration, is that everything's going to crash. And those are the people they're the hardest people to get because they have the strongest emotional tie to the belief that they should wait. So if you're sitting there saying, okay, the whole market is going to crash, what does that mean? It means rates are going to come down, prices are going to come down, and it's going to be a field day because all the sellers are going to want to sell, and there's not going to be any buyers because everyone's scared, and I'm going to come in and swoop in and do it. Not so fast. People don't understand, especially young people. And I know you always give me shit for being a Gen Xer, but I am old enough to remember
You
living.
young people, and this is why we're not millennia up anymore. We moved
Yeah, this is why.
to
I was of a home purchasing age during the Great Recession. And I'm
right.
going to tell you right now,
I was sitting in chemistry.
your psychology completely changes when the herd decides to disengage from the market. Don't think for a second that if, let's say, there is some massive crash, don't think that you're going to be like, honey, this is a great time to buy. There would be job uncertainty. There would be all kinds of shit going on. There would be geopolitical unrest. There would be I lived through that, and I was of the like news consuming. I was a consumer that was actually thinking about these big decisions. There is a very, very strong argument to be made um, that your psychology would definitely change in that environment. But also, if you are in the greater Philadelphia area and you go back and you look at what everyone or what home prices did in the Philadelphia area, it was not what, again, the national media says, where it was like everything fell and everything. That was red meat for the media in Texas and Florida, where people lost 40% of the value of their homes. That didn't happen here because this is a very desirable way. And if we're talking about Chicago or New York or Boston or Raleigh or Atlanta, these cities hold up in these bad markets. And so we went through a literal housing crash in 2008, and these markets still did okay. So in the end, just remember that if you're watching national media, they are going to take the worst case scenario and inflect that across the entire country. And that is not how things work. So my point is that if you sit there and you wait and wait and wait, you might just be sitting there and home prices really don't correct. Yeah, you might get at a better interest rate, but you've lost all that appreciation over time. Let's say the market crashes in 2027. You've lost all that equity gain, all that price appreciation, and that's it. And you're still sitting there renting. I just wrote a lease for somebody. He's going to spend $84,000 over the term of that lease. And when he packs it away, and he packs up his shit and gets out of there,
What the? I don't know if we're saying F bombs on here yet, but like, what the shit?
Yeah, 84 grand is the lease term
For a lease.
for a
Over
lease.
how much? Over how long?
2 years, $3,500.
That's foul.
Yes,
I
nuts.
could have like 80% of my house paid off.
Yeah,
Well, okay. If it was only principal, it's not.
yeah, yeah.
But like, so like, all to say, don't wait for reasons that aren't technically legitimate. Think first, why do you need this?
Yeah,
It's so individually driven. And if you're not sure, then just talk to us. Like it's a conversation.
yeah,
I talk to people all the time. Like, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and like twice now he has said, he's like, well, I don't want to waste your time because like I'm really just not sure. I said, I need to make this so perfectly clear, and I say this with my whole chest. Not a single conversation that I will ever have with anybody, especially regarding just homes or moving, is a waste of my time.
yeah,
Like, not one. And if you're not sure, I want that conversation. It's not going to be me pushing you into like convincing you to do something you don't want to do. Every person who's ever known me in sales is always known like, oh, you could sell ice to an Eskimo, like you're dangerous, except they know for a fact, and every single one would always tell you, I cannot sell something that I do not believe in and that I do not agree with.
Yep.
And if I do not think it is, and it's a conversation to talk about you. And actually, just this weekend, I was talking to one of my, actually, just my old boss. I'm helping her and her boyfriend and his mom out. And they had a bad run with a realtor who just wasn't listening to them. And I got on the phone with them and I was like, okay, I said, what do you want to see happen? And what's your comfort level? And I don't know, it's just, that's my approach. Talking to her later, she was like, hearing his mom like really open up, it's the first time she ever did because you asked what her comfort level was. Like so
Mhm.
many people are just like coming in and just like getting down your throat of like, this is what you need to do just because like I'm the professional and you're not. Like, this is a very individualized process. I'm going to ask you, like, what do you want? What do you need? What do you not currently have? Like, what's important to you?
What are you afraid of?
And like have an open conversation about it. By the end, we'll be able to figure out, okay, is this the right time or is it not? And it may take another conversation with somebody else. So you might need to like and when I say talk to the lender, that's really just to say like, let's talk to somebody who can literally give us the answers. It's not a contractual agreement. It's literally just, hey, let's just figure it out and see.
What is this is your cue.
What?
What's the line?
What?
What's the line?
What was my line?
You got your tagline. You got your
No problems, just solutions, baby.
no, not no problems, just
I mean,
solutions.
not too though.
No, you're like it's never too early, but it's
Oh,
something silly.
there's no such thing as too early. There is such thing as too late.
That's right.
Yes.
And that
So, all to say, there is no use in just trying to time things to some event that you don't even know it's going to happen, or I'm going to wait until that. Do you need it or not? And if you don't know, let's go figure that out.
mhm.
That's fine. But, nah. I
Yeah.
want me to
So
stop.
I,
Oh,
I think I think I think the way this goes is I think people waiting for the ideal conditions, they don't truly understand that moving's always gonna suck.
there is no ideal. There's Please give me a time in life where all stars line and everything is just perfectly timed and
Yeah.
everything like ah. I know a certain somebody who also thinks like, well, it's just like it needs to like be right time. There is no right time. There's never going to be a right time for anything. You either make the decision or you don't.
Yeah, well,
Either
listen, there are times when like timing the market really isn't having to do with economics, and it just has to do with like babies coming or
there is
jobs
a
or
wrong time.
yeah, there's a wrong time, but that's logistical, and that's not what we're
Yeah,
talking about.
correct.
Timing the market is strictly a financial and economic. It's someone trying to predict the economics of housing. And my point, what I made in the very beginning, is that you can't do it. You've got a millions and millions and millions of people looking at all this all day, every day. People with a lot of motive and profit and a lot of money swirling around this thing. And you do get paid off if you're right. Like if you hit the nail on the head, man, you will get on any stage. They'll have you out. The guy who predicted the guy in The Big Short, Michael Berry. He predicted
Which, by the
he was
way, if
buying.
you guys haven't seen that movie, The
You
Big
should watch
Short, you should watch it.
It's an amazing movie that describes what happened during the housing crisis. But this guy bought mortgage-backed securities, or no, I'm sorry. What he did is he shorted mortgage-backed securities. He knew the bank was selling shitty paper, and so he set up an insurance product to short the entire housing market, and he did it in like 2006, and it didn't really crash till '08. And so that guy's a hero. And there's a whole bunch of people out there who would love to be as famous as that guy and have a movie made about him. But in the end, nobody really can. Everyone's just spraying and praying. And so I would just caution people before we wrap up, just make sure you check your sources. If your uncle who bought a house in 1992 is telling you that he knows because he's watched Fox Business all day or CNBC or whatever, that's not necessarily a reliable way to go about predicting your future.
It's like
And
going off of the Fed rates for mortgage rates.
yeah, I mean, oh, listen, in August they were saying 2025 there was a 95% chance of 5 rate cuts in 2025.
Oh, that was a nice time. Hey,
And
can
then
we go back to our old episode from January last year? We
yeah,
were wrong too.
we were wrong too, and that's my point. But We have put dozens of people into homes since then, and they are all, yeah, the payments are higher, but they're all lined up to refi, and they
I
all have enjoyed price appreciation.
I check in with my buyers afterwards, and especially like all my ones recently too. I'm like, "How do you like?" And actually, my one friend, she does my hair. I was just with her last week, and I check in. I never want to be that person that is responsible for anybody having buyer's or seller's remorse,
Yeah,
and I do everything I can to make sure that doesn't happen. She said, I love my house. And she's like, it was, because at first she saw the numbers and she's like, ah. But she said, every month that I make my mortgage payment, I'm not stressed. Like, I'm so happy
yeah,
and it's working fine. It's great. I'm so happy we did it.
yes, and you figure it out, and listen, this is not about putting you into house recklessly.
No.
But the idea of timing a market, it just moves too slow, and a lot of times you don't have time for that. You need to start building wealth through housing, and I have almost nobody in my entire career who has ever had buyer's remorse.
And I'm um, but I'd also challenge every time.
That was a tough file. That was a
That
but
aside, again, we
no,
don't.
but even then we were very conscientious of it, and we gave that person a lot of chances to leave.
Mhm.
There were a lot of opportunities for her to vacate that file and that deal, and she did not. And so she trusted her gut, or she went against her gut, and she ended up putting, and that's and but in the end, I think she's still going to be okay in the end.
I still think it's a good house. But
It is
anyway,
a good
that
house.
aside, I would challenge anybody who's saying that they are trying to time the market and that they want to just wait until whatever that is. Think to yourself, is this just an excuse? Is it an excuse not to take action? To just say that because you can, because everybody else is saying it? Is that a safety net and a little like comfort blanket to you to say, I just need to wait until whatever it is?
Yeah,
See, Seth is nerd brain. I get emotional brain. I think so much of decision making is so much more emotional than it is logical.
yeah.
And like
Oh my
that,
God, tell me more. I've never heard this. I've never
I'm
heard
here
this.
to enlighten.
That people, are you saying in sales situations that people make their decisions emotionally and not logically? I've never heard that. Tell me more. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to stop talking. Tell me more about emotional buying.
Emotional buying. Shut up. How retail industries thrive. No, but really though, there's a lot of you may be fooling themselves, and I'm fine to call some people out. You might just be fooling yourself and
Yeah,
thinking that, like, oh, well, I'm just gonna, that's gonna be the financially right decision. Shut up, bitch, shut up. Break it down. Let's make sure that's actually the case because the people who always tell me I don't think it's the best like financial decision to do right now, I respect that entirely if it's true.
hmm,
So when I tell you, let's go to the source to find out if that is the case. Let's go find those answers. Let's
yeah,
talk to that lender and make sure. I will back off if that's the case. And you know what? Let's come up with a game plan. But that's the thing. We don't just, if you want it, we can make that happen. And it might not be right now. And I need to reiterate, I'm not going to push somebody to do something that's not responsible. But you need to have the conversations
yeah,
with the people who are going to actually tell you if it is responsible or not. And I'm not going to believe you if you tell me that, oh, it's not the right time financially. Let's make sure of that. I'm going to ask you, how do you know that? And you might be really good at budgeting and being and tracking your finances and knowing what you can and can't do. I want to know all of that. But let's talk to the lender who's going to actually be able to put that in perspective. And if we cannot, no problem. But like, if you're going to push back on me and say you're not going to have that conversation, then I'm going to challenge you to say, is this just an excuse then to not actually take action?
yeah.
Because it's scary and because it sucks, because moving sucks. Well, guess what? It doesn't have to. And that's why it's time to fix that.
That's right.
Ooh, full circle, baby.
That's right. All right. Well, let's lock this down. Timing the market is a dumb idea.
Yeah.
Call Jen if you have any questions.
If you need a therapy session, I go for $100 an hour. Just kidding.
Got it.
All
All
right.
right. I'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
See ya.